Hi everybody, welcome back to part 1 of Materia's D&D. We'll replay D&D our way, and if you happen to catch the level up portion that we did right before this, you understand that it is very different than standard 5th edition. Custom bullet point driven feat system, skill proficiencies based on intelligence at certain level breakpoints, and much more. But we're pretty much done with that. We have a few items to add in, but we'll do that right after the recap. But yeah, so recap. Last time in our D&D, in our little game, the group got separated just ever so slightly, with Rock adventuring through the night and then losing himself and fighting through sleep to make it, to find what he could in the collection of knowledge, this little sanctum of tomes and stone tablets and scrolls and all that within the city that the group has deemed the heart of the mountain. There he ventured, he found information on Agni, the fox spirit, and his some of his lore and his whimsical ways, as well as other elements. But most notably, he ventured and found a secret passage that led into a secret chamber that was a collection of, well, documents and scrolls where he stayed up and studied under the watchful gaze of a sphinx statue that guarded the entryway that rested upon the top of the arch that led into this chamber. He eventually did find a number of spells and spell scrolls that he will, at some point, add to his collection. However, before all that, he interacted with said Sphinx statue that had a humanoid face, though slightly lion-like features, large mane that was braided, body laid out like a lion's. That had a few distinct adornments upon it. The forehead had a very faint third eye, and around its neck, beautifully carved into a marble statue, there was a necklace that had the central symbol of the 11, which is a little pointed triangle going down, the over-exaggerated points representing the 3 neutral deities. And I was holding a very large quill, and the quill itself was not stone. It was some sort of quill that is affixed to the statue. That being said, he interacted with it, figured he would put magic ink on it, and bada bing, bada boom, he got teleported into a dimension. And within this dimension, he interacted with a figure, a face, the same face, being pressed out from the sand that was the Sphinx, and was given a riddle. A compass of gold with no needle points in what direction. Unable to figure it out, though, unable to figure it out, though proving to the entity that he was not a thief, he got punted out of the dimension and told to return when he figured out the answer. On the flip side, the menagerie woke up to a room full of Davises, all of which were wearing little kabuki fox masks, except for the original Davis. After figuring out who was who, and figuring out that it's most likely Rock that did another little goofy prank on them, they went through the town searching for their friend after breakfast. They did eventually find and track down the Sanctum of Knowledge. However, it did take them much longer than expected, and they did need to interact with a number of the bronze cast individuals, most of which were not very helpful. However, one of the female ones that they ran into understood the description and pointed them into the right direction. However, it was still pretty difficult to track down Rock, taking some time. Dregnar did eventually stumble upon what looked like footsteps, and they managed to get to a dead end. At the dead end, thanks to Hans going crazy and scratching Al's chest, his little undead crawling hand familiar, It notified them to a secret passage, but the puzzle and the way to open it was not clear to them. But with their yelling and that, they got Rock's attention, and he helped them through the wall, put the books in the order to open the secret passage. Once inside, Rock was super excited to show them what he found, and there was a bit of tension over what he told them and what he planned to kind of do. Half of the menagerie attempted to kind of get in Rock's way and stop him, but the other half was just like, all right, consequences. For the most part, we'll say. And Rock managed to, thanks to surprise round, pretty much set up a way that he was able to get the group to, well, he thought it was just going to be himself and one other, but to get him and his friend to get teleported back into the Sphinx's dimension, where, unbeknownst to him, because everyone but Dregnar was in the statue's gaze, they all got teleported to this same cascading sand dimension, where below them, where they stood, was on like scrolls of paper, and eventually ink would drip through, as ink was the catalyst required to open the portal, and that was what drew the face and allowed it to press through the sand. And they were confronted with a very angry individual, and one that seemed to be able to understand who or what they were at their fundamental core, but they were able to answer the riddle. And as a result to that, they were told to seek out old places of knowledge, old tomes, anything written down in history for an individual known as Samawi Jit. And before leaving the dimension, a number of the individuals are extremely mad at Rock, bringing up the pact that they have that if any of them go out of control, that they need to, put them down. Rock was bestowed upon a boon of the Mentor, and Mentor is one of the 3 prime neutral deities. Essentially, what it allows him to do is, when he rolls a portent, when he rolls his portents in the morning, he can choose to re-roll one of them and take either result. And then on top of that, as he is a divination.
Yeah, it's divination.
Yeah. Wizard, when he activates his third eye, well, he has a third eye that can allow him to see like in darkness and see invisible objects and stuff. He can overcharge it, and for 1 hour he gets the benefit of all 4 possible aspects of said third eye. However, it then closes, and he has no access into it until he completes a long rest, and it's only a chance that it reopens. Yeah. As this power is not necessarily meant for a mortal, I guess. Maybe that's my reasoning for it. So, with that being said, they were spit out of the dimension. Loon, a little drunk on dwarven ale. Dregnar, fucking pissed off at Rock, and storming out of the Sanctum of Knowledge, where we pick up, essentially, as my players know, because we didn't want to do this awkward, hey, you're technically level 11, you have a whole day, but I wanted you to be level 12. Throughout this course of the day, it is their opportunity to kind of lightly venture throughout the city, pick up things, maybe, role play some, them getting their new skills in a sense. Something they've been developing over time, and now they come to fruition, etc. So my players can easily just say, we want to do that, or we can just literally jump to, you guys got home, you rested, or you got to where you're sleeping, you rested, you wake up in the next day, and boom, bada bing, bada boom, you're level 12. But
so since Davis beefed up his strength and Karos beefed up his con, I like to imagine he's just like, hit me in the stomach. Do it again.
You'll get one of the oh, I did one thing I really forgot to mention. Navori checked in on y'all as well. That's all. Yeah. But one of the things I kind of imagine right now is as you guys are like, I guess we'll call it training montage, that one of the forge masters, one of the four, comes by and watches this, and in this little broadcast way is like, "Are you attempting to mold his flesh, or is this some sort of? I do not understand. Mortals are strange." I'm just kind of.
Don't
I
forget
can't hear him because of the montage music going on.
the Sej and Dragnar changes too.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, man, I am just all over the place. Thank you, guys. All right, so let's just break the third wall again, or fourth wall. So in our level recap, Sej misunderstood and thought that it was the skill part that was all that was happening, because you don't really get too much on level 12, but overlooked the fact that there was an ASI or a feat, and he chose to take a feat. And it's a feat that none of us actually expected him to take, which is pretty freaking cool. I love it when players do that. So he's taking the Materia parent feat called Sword Weapon and Shield Specialist.
Yep.
And he meets the criteria because he's a cleric and he has proficiency with shields. And his bullet points that he's taking, as I remember them, he's taking shield position, which basically, in short, it's from the Shield Master feat in standard 5e. It allows him to add his shield's AC bonus to dex saves, and take half damage. Well, that's all there. And I will say, I don't know if the player knows this, but this does scale with magical shields. So, like, if you happen to get like a magic shield +2, so total of 4 AC, you're technically, as long as your shield is ready and you can impose it, it's getting +4 to your dex save. He's also
my eyes peeled for magic shield.
yeah.
Befriend an artificer and they'll make you one.
Yeah. The other thing
I
he
also
took.
got rapid ready.
Yes, Rapid Ready, which basically allows him to, when he does his interact with object to pull out a weapon or a spell component or something like that, he can also pull out a shield. So it allows him for always having the shield at the ready, almost. And lastly, which is not a bullet point that I created, but is one that was in my to-do list, is in Materia, we play with not just shields. Like, shields are a category of armor, and there's bucklers that require no strength, and they give less AC as a base. There's shields, which give the +2 AC, but they require like a 13 strength. And then we also added tower shields, because tower shields are from 3 and 3/5, and they're classic, and I don't know. There's something special about tower shields. And those require like a lot more strength to use. But for him, he's taking 1 point into this, or the bullet into this, and since he's got a 8 strength, he normally wouldn't be able to use a shield. Now he's able to, because it removes the strength requirement on a shield for him. So yeah, he finds the shield. He's already getting a +1 AC, and that goes there. And then Dragnar, as we are slowly incorporating racial feats into our game as well, and I'm not going to go into the whole system of that. He's going back to one of his previous feats that he took, which was his Tough as Nails, as I allow a bullet point to get swapped out every level, if you wish to do so. So he's dropping his Tough 2. So he's essentially losing 12 hit points from what we thought, he would have. But he's inserting the 1 point bullet of SWAT Nimbleness, which was transferred over from Xanathar's Guide, which gives him another 5 feet of movement speed and allows him to take proficiency in athletics or acrobatics. So there we go. Recap. Super done. I gave it to my players, and I'm probably going to talk no more throughout the entire story. It's all of you guys. Go.
Dragnar's far away from us, right?
It depends on what
40, 50, 60 feet, because while you guys were messing around, I stormed off. I was pissed.
In other words, a little less than 1 turns of movement.
Oh yeah, well we haven't leveled up yet, so I'm still back at the previous one.
60.
No, 50.
Only 50.
Oh, 50.
I'm gonna try to catch up to Dragnar.
I mean, it's doable, as you could dash after him, right?
Well, I'm not moving my full movement. It's not like I'm sprinting away. I'm just walking away at like a normal pace.
Mm-hmm. Got it. So, something I like to imagine, and you can correct me if this is wrong, Dragnar, is you don't always move at your full currently. Speed.
No.
Yeah, you'll walk like a normal. It's just you have the capability to very easily, without getting winded, move much faster.
Yeah, I've kind of trained myself that whenever I'm walking normally, when we're walking through town or whatever, I'm walking with them. So I kind of trained myself to understand what their movement would be. So I'm probably doing 25, 30 feet.
Yeah, got it. So yeah, Rock is attempting to approach you, so do as you see. Go ahead.
I'll just catch up, but not in arm's reach, just close enough that he can hear me. And I just say, we're under a mountain finding a crazy firefox and a dragon and doing what we can to help Davis, and we really don't question it. We just do it. And you had stuff going on with your brother, and we don't really question it. Do it. But it's like anytime I'm doing something, Rock, you're kind of crazy. So, we got to think about that one and plan that one, and maybe we'll get back to it. And you know what? I've bled the same as the rest of you, and I've hurt the same as the rest of you. And yeah, I went crazy that one time, but it wasn't really my fault. I just want the same damn respect that everyone else gets. Yeah, I'm tired, and maybe that wasn't the decision, but I knew it was something that had to be done, and not something that we just forget about and get back to maybe, and that's it. So you can be mad at me if you want, and that's fine, because I know eventually you won't be, because you're a friend of mine, and I know that you care, but that's it. That's all I gotta say. And I just fade back a little.
You'll see, like, he'll do a side glance and just kind of nod a nod of understanding, but there's still frustration on his face, and he kind of just keeps walking off.
I just shuffle slowly. I'm tired now. I'm just shuffling off to find somewhere to nap.
Yeah, it says reminder that Rock stayed up through the entirety of the night, so he's got a point of exhaustion. So what's everyone else? Like you guys said, like right now, please just use this as an opportunity to theater the mind. You literally have essentially 24 hours before I take over. Like you guys can say essentially anything that you guys wanted to do, and I'll roll with it.
The only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be kind of wandering around, just kind of looking at what's around me. And if I happen to come across a potential set of thieves' tools, since I took that skill, that'd be great. But I don't know how I would role play that as far as I don't have the skill. Maybe I just pick them up and just like start tinkering with them because I'm pissed off and I'm trying to occupy my mind.
Hey, I like that. You can always, for the sake of like the roleplay portion, you can always say that you've, for the past month or so, just been kind of tinkering and messing with something, and then that's how you develop it. Like, the easiest one for me is usually like when I talk like a language or something, is like, in your downtimes during camping hours and stuff like that, you were, in town, you had picked up a couple pieces of parchment or some scrolls or something like that to help you learn the language. And then once you meet that threshold, you've essentially developed that skill. For you, absolutely. Like I can kind of see it like you're whittling away, kind of just eating away at something that's been bothering you, keeping yourself busy over time. And then when you're walking through town, again mostly vacant. You've probably actually, Dragna, go ahead and roll me an insight check. Yeah, I think insight works for this.
6.
6. Yeah. You
Passive is 12, so I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's just to see. Like you see that there's some broadcasts around. They all seem to have the same way. You don't really get. It's hard for you to get a feel of how many there are, just because they act very much the same and they look very much the same. There are some differences, but you're not really picking up on them. So eventually, you do kind of find if you would imagine it like in its active heyday, it might have been some kind of maybe stone bazaar down here, trading corridor for people that knew of the monastic forge masters, and they needed to keep other things coming into their town, so they have like a trading post. And you find that a lot of it was essentially like left and shut down, and not everything was taken. And you walk into one of the, I wouldn't call it like a tent section. There's like, I almost imagine them being all like very thin stone like structures that could easily be almost like deassembled in a way and then shifted around, giving it that kind of the bizarre feel. You find some that are still set up, and you're talking hundreds of years of spider cobwebs and stuff, and you kind of start dusting through and move, and you just find like an old collection of various small tools on display. You see some chisels and like like a pair of scissors and all that, and everything is pretty nicely made. But then you find one that's essentially an all metal. It almost looks like one of those like flip out combs, and you see it, and it's like a solid metal. Like maybe you think at first, like, is that a harmonica or something? And you go and investigate it, and you kind of mess around with it, and you realize that there's a couple latches, and then various little instruments at the end kind of pop out, and you mess with that, and you just kind of think, I could use this. And then through the course of the day, you're just kind of messing around with it and realize what it is. When you're resting, you start to just kind of find little objects that are scattered about and just kind of see if you can open some like wooden or not wooden. Oh no, wooden chests would survive. It's a dry enough environment. You find some old like abandoned wooden chests throughout the area, and maybe some like doors and all that. And just kind of start throughout the rest of the day, kind of and getting your way through developing or putting your little practice to finally into becoming a skill.
Very cool. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
When Rock makes it back to us, hey Rock,
Hello.
before you go to sleep, well, one, I don't think ill of you for doing that. Just so you know, I didn't mean to overhear, but anyways, that matters not. Do you, don't take this the wrong way, but do you happen to know Draconic?
Say a couple words in Draconic.
I don't know what that means, but I have
Bless
big
you.
understanding, I think. Yeah, bless you. Gesundheit. Anyways. Do you think, after breakfast, maybe tomorrow after you sleep or whenever you wake up, you could, run through the basics with me? I think I remember it from my youth, but I'm gonna need a refresher.
Yeah. Absolutely. I might screw some up. I'm a little tired today, but yeah.
Oh, not right now. I want you to get your sleep. You deserve it at this point. When you're rested, I have a vague feeling that with that slight understanding that dragons are vastly more important to Materia than I originally understood, I feel like speaking a tongue that could relate would be very important in the coming days.
Yeah, especially with our what we currently face. Yeah. I will do my best to teach you all I know.
Thank you. I'm gonna like blink out and take a nap, like leaning against the wall. My eyes just close.
I can respect that so heavily, just being so tired. Yeah. Like, so back kind of in the relative sanctum of where the bronze cast Forge Masters had, shown y'all to your resting quarters the night before. Not even being gone half a day, you've kind of already returned, and just realizing that the previous days adventuring and then the stress of, well, for you it wouldn't necessarily stress, but we'll call, I don't know what a better term is, the excitement of, Rock introducing y'all to Samui Jet or Jeet, still has taken its toll. And then also there's that, for you specifically, there's that that burden that's been on your shoulders of not knowing how Ulrich is doing. And while you can't confirm what Samui told you, you feel the words were true, and you know that your brother is alive at the scarred playa.
That's right.
Lifting sands. So it's kind of just that's an emotional exhale that allows you to rest more easily.
And
I
as
have
you
much to
exhale,
ponder than an orb.
you turn back into your normal self from being a Davis with a fox mask.
My God, is that still the effect? I forgot all about that.
It's like 8 hours.
Yeah, it's
So,
probably
yeah.
Oh my
basically until we were
God.
done with the Sphinx stuff,
Yeah.
maybe even a little longer.
That's why
Yeah.
the Sphinx was looking at us so weird.
That's why they
While
can't tell you guys
casually
apart
flipping
at
from
all.
sleep and not, I'm gonna go to grab my trunk, stroking a beard if you're sleeping or something like that, and it just misses and poof.
I like that. That's cool. Very cool. Nice. All right. I guess Karos or Al or Davis, anything y'all want to add right now?
If there was, so since we're kind of just having some downtime after I'm done punching Carlos in the stomach, I will. I kind of wanted, if Al's not busy, I was gonna start showing him all the decorative stuff on my new toy.
Since there's that little bit of time of you punching Karos, can I check out a couple of tablets from the library?
I mean,
Like, I was thinking, I'll tell Davis, like, yeah, I'll catch up in like 30 minutes. I'm staying away from the Sphinx room. I don't want any more of that shit today.
Good idea.
But they've got to have some good stuff in here. Just got to figure out how they sort these things. And then,
so I will say an element of it too, easily enough to stay away from it, because when you guys left, there was a simple enough, system of plates that you pressed in, and then that the secret passage would open on from the inside, and then as you crossed the threshold, once everyone is out, it just began to slide into place, and you hear that locking sound. So you would, and I don't think, Al, you would remember the sequence of books to reopen it, and the books hadn't shuffled, so now it needs to be another sequence of books to open it. So yeah, you're able to walk around, find some tablets. Are you looking for any tablets in particular, or?
yeah, I'm seeing if they have anything written in or relating to the Abyssal language.
Okay.
In Al's downtime, he's kind of been trying to think of like the runes from the hag scrawlings, and he's just kind of been he's hadn't delved too deep into it, but they might have something in here. So he's almost looking for just familiar runes from all how many tens of hours him and Rock were studying, decoding all that stuff.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. Yeah, because something that was always making it just a little bit more difficult was that there was that extra little flair of style in the parchments and the notes and all that, which you guys understood Sylvan together, you guys understood Infernal together, but there was that dabblings in another script. And that turns out that you do end up starting to, in the Sanctum of Knowledge, you do find some references to those scripts that you've also collected a little bit of on your way through Whitlaw while you're at the library and other things along the way. I kind of imagine Al, even if not in the most devious way, just kind of grabbing where he can and adding it to his little collection for him to study. and you've been developing some sort of understanding and some sort of familiarity with the abyssal and in its written form. And you do find amongst some of the stone tablets in a God, I guess it would be more of the how do I want to call it? I'm trying to think of like a nice way to call it, but it's basically like the entities, like neighbors from various neighbors of like I want to say like neighbors of like various planes, but I don't know like the right way that I'm trying to think how they would have labeled it, right? Because like everything's labeled in a very specific way. But you do find a section that while it doesn't have much detail on it, there is some parchments that are taken and some tablets that are taken there and on display, and no one's going to stop you from taking them that are actually just straight up in abyssal where you get to study and learn.
Oh,
Yep.
nice. Okay. Al would. I think he probably told Davis like, yeah, I'll be there in 30, 45 minutes, and he's probably gonna be like a
2
bit
hours.
longer than that, hour and a half maybe, hour 50, just for you. He's gonna grab, I would say like 3 tablets, take a few steps, realize shit's way too heavy. Why can't they use paper? It'll put the 3rd one back. It's a long trip back to where we're staying. So with those 2 volumes, way at the desk. There's no librarian here, I guess. All right, I'll just bring these back tomorrow.
Yeah. I will say, just for the sake of it, roll me a d20. I just want to see something. I just want to see how goofy I can make this.
Yeah.
So what did you roll?
15.
Yeah, that's good enough. I will say, like, one of the tablets that you find is it's when you get it out from like the darkness, of the interior library, as you guys really didn't spend much time lighting too many sconces. You were kind of relying on dark vision and whatever magical light sources, and maybe a torch or two. But when you kind of take it out of the library to, take with you, and it's the area has like this constant glowish, like this underbelly glow to it because of the pool of lava that is just there. And as you see it, one of the tablets that you have it's like of stone or metal. It's kind of hard to identify, but it has this oddly, like, it's almost like a brownish, brackish red color, and it gives off a really strong scent of iron. And as you're kind of walking through and studying it over time, the creeping realization that it is a tablet of compressed and coagulated blood that is solidified over centuries and written into tablets makes you realize abyssal can be kind of spooky, scary stuff.
People are into some weird shit.
Yeah. So, yeah, basically, they needed to make an iron tablet. Where do you get iron from?
How many? Oh God. Oh
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. So, okay, cool. I had fun with that.
I was just kind of questioning everything as he finishes walking back to the homestead.
Yeah,
When he does arrive, he's just kind of blankly looking up and around, like, but why would you want to? The hell?
yeah, cool. All right. But yeah. I guess if there's anything, Mr. Karos, beyond getting just punched and training
Harder.
Well, yeah, like leading up to that, he was feeling a little wiped by the lava, but as he's been around in this place for longer, like it kind of starts to remember him of like some really hot days of his home turf. Like since he kind of traveled south, it's a little more humid, a little more temperate climate. So it's kind of like him getting his wind back of like that hot heat, and it kind of after succumbing to a little bit of exhaustion from it, now being able to take a breather, it's kind of where he's like, yeah, Davis, man, I don't know, I felt bad, but I kind of feel a little refreshed. Like, give me a wallop. Let's see. Back up to snuff. So that's the punching bag montage there. And then after we're done with that, I'd go talk to Al to kind of see if he had, knowing that he's writing the songs of the exploits and stuff, but that he kind of seems to know, what's going on. Like he's somebody who's keeping track of things, maybe just to make music and tell tales and exploits and such, but usually those types of people also kind of like just keep track of knowledge in general. So I kind of like start asking him questions to try to fill my gaps of maybe life in this area that I've maybe not thought to ask about. Kind of like hone up on the history skill there. Just kind of realizing that maybe in my travels I picked up a little more than I thought I did, but hadn't really like thought about it and actually put it together as a cohesive tale of this area that I have been traveling in for the past however many years. So I kind of just, as I'm sitting there doing some sit-ups while he's studying his abyssal, or maybe before or after, if he's getting annoyed by the questions, I'm just kind of asking him questions about history here or there, things that I maybe had gotten a little taste of but never really thought to ask the story behind it.
Yeah.
Flesh out my understanding of this continent and its history.
And like I kind of see as you allow your characters' gears to turn and everything, and some of them kind of like, it's kind of like both gears turning and tumblers falling into place is kind of the two like visuals that I see. Like you realize, you come to the realization like, oh, yeah, I have picked up on all this. I just kind of took it as for granted, but yeah.
Or like idioms and turns of phrase in these areas I went that I kind of just ignored, and it's like, oh, I see. That's they're
And even like some of the more slightly more intricate ones, because like you do, for the most part, you have an extremely high intelligence. Like even maybe some, like you realized when you did leave the Pride Lands and you did cross into Cled proper, you came through West Green, and you always knew that there was North Green, and you've heard of North Green, East Green, and South Green, but like now you realize the structure is in place, and some like little things that you never even gave it consideration, and like, oh yeah, they're all run by the same group, yet they're spread across for hundreds, if not thousands of miles, or hundreds and hundreds of miles. How do they do that? How does one group control 4 points of a city, essentially? Like little things like that. So cool.
I was gonna say, after the first couple questions, Al gets a bit more invested. He'll leave the tablet and he'll definitely start answering questions, full conversation. He'll even have the lute, and every now and then, like middle of describing a story or something, he'll just play and sing like one line from one of his songs, and then go right back into the story. But it's something relevant. But
I guess I should ask Al, how into it do you get, and how in control are you of some of the stories that you tell? Because backstory, you might be unintentionally slipping some information. I don't know. Like I'll even let you roll with that if you want to accidentally slip some information, but I don't know. Like,
I'd say depending on how long it goes on, I'd probably be safe for like 30 minutes. But if it keeps going beyond that, stuff might start slipping in. Yeah.
okay.
Like, You're talking about how is 4 areas, large distance, same group? Yeah, I know a little about that. It's like
Mhm.
trading or just a group that has that kind of power. I don't know. Yeah, he starts flipping a little bit. Something I
Okay.
can roll for?
Yeah, if you want to make it a roll, yeah, you can try. What would be a good one to see how how much little details do you want to drop, and then also I can make it. Ooh, because I can also make it like a gleaming check for Mr. Karos, and we can kind of determine like what you might say. Go ahead, Al, and give me a wisdom check, Al,
Okay. That's
just to
without
see.
proficiency?
Add your jack of all trades to it, but yeah, no proficiency. Because it's not like a straight wisdom. Like I can't think of what it would be.
Lucky for you, Karos, I'm terrible at that.
Ooh.
Okay.
Oh,
Average.
11. So Karos, your passive insight is, I think, pretty decent, right? I think it's pretty high actually.
It
Because you get to use
is.
your intelligence, right?
Yeah, I think
Plus
I'm
8, so 18.
18, yeah.
Because you gave away the ring of truth telling or whatnot, so you don't have your advantage anymore, so it's not a +5.
Thank
So
you.
18. But as Al starts to go into the story, Al, it's you definitely let some stuff slip. I would say, since it's a big enough difference of, it's more than 5 difference. I will defer to you to what information you wish to say. I would say go ahead and give one key aspect that you would probably not have normally told somebody, and I'll let you kind of choose, and I can help you along the way if you need it.
Mm-hmm. I'm got the line. I just want something. Want to make it a sandwich, something before, something after.
Yeah.
What is is there a name for the 4 green, North Green, South Green as a total?
I haven't come up with it yet. Like, essentially the idea of it is that, by all means, if you have a name for it, go for it. But North Green, South Green, East Green, West Green, there are uh, there are 4 cities that are on major border points of Cled and another region. Oddly enough, they are controlled by the same. I haven't figured out if it's same families or same coalition or all that, but they're controlled by the same. We'll just say for the time being, family. But Cled is fairly large, but they have very strong holdings and control of all 4. Mostly because, and they border like Cled, and the western side would be like with the Pride Lands, the open fields. To the north it'd be the Ostrich Mountains, the Dauntless Peaks. To the east it would be Lucidia and the Swamplands. To the south it would be towards the borders with Mysia, the frozen lands. So somehow they have standing in all places.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Part of how they kind of stayed in power and kind of they have these really strong ways of like really good routes, really good roads to connect each other. To do quite a bit of trading. Um, it's border stuff, so they let people through who they want, and traders are always good. They get a lot of really good stuff from kind of that Morass City area. A lot of really rare mushrooms and grasses for healing. They got some crazy silk. Got some crazy spiders, crazy silk. It's such good shit. Um,
Hmm.
and then Al's gonna smile and let his strings go real quick. Like, stuff never gets dirty. It's super durable. It's all natural. It's fantastic.
Fascinating. I was not aware. I had not really thought much about it. You just kind of go through an area and pick up little tidbits. Having the whole thing kind of put together, they really puts a different perspective on it.
Mm-hmm. There's all kinds of other stuff being traded too, but it's just such a strong foundation for how they came to power and how they stay in power, and he'll just kind of trail off
Yeah.
on other things.
I guess, Al, with your permission, I'll give him some of the visual cues, as you say, Silk, if that's okay, just to make sure it's not lost. Okay, cool. So something that you've noticed, Karos, but when the story is being told or the discussion is being had, Al has a lot of spider motif on him.
Mm-hmm.
Most notably is that like the little brooch that clasps his cloak on is a spider's head, though the gems have been pried out of it. He around his waist. He does a pretty good job of keeping it clean, but adventuring. He wears what once was like a very pristine white, beautiful sash. Now it's become almost like a tan color just from dirt and grime, though it is still clean. It's just stained. That has like some like marching spiders along the rim, almost as if like you would imagine like a border of like a stripe, but the stripe's made out of spiders. Some of his armor has like almost like a spider web appearance to it. Yeah, and you would recall that the signet ring that he gave up. If I'm not, I think you said it was a spider ring, right, Al?
The spider one, yeah.
Yeah. His signet ring that he gave up through the forges essentially was like the body of a spider, and the ring itself was made out of the legs, right? So a lot of spider motif for one guy. And his when he does the flash of his lute, his strings are made of spider silk as well.
Hmm. They're pristine, and I believe quite a while back, I think Davis was the only person who may have noticed that, just from how long we've been traveling together.
Yeah.
The strings don't get dirty. I've never had to replace them, whereas you'd expect a lute to be every other week, every few weeks or something. But they're still that pristine white. They might have a little wear and tear, like the trying to remember what the sash is made out of. Yeah, I'll get back to that. But no, the strings are pretty pristine.
Yep. Cool. All right. So we got everybody. Let's see.
I think Davis wanted to talk to me at some point.
Mm.
I was hoping I didn't eat up too much time with I was the I read the tablets later basically. I'm gonna skip sleeping partially.
Got it. Y'all will need to sleep to level up, obviously, but you know what I'm saying.
But if we have like watches or something,
Yeah.
I mean,
do
it's
like a
still
single
just the
first watch.
afternoon right now. We still got time.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just would like show you my weapon. It's got a bunch of cool stuff on it, and you're part of it, and da 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 da. However much you want to go into it.
Oh, I want all the details. Can you see any of the things that went into it?
Maybe that I haven't, because that was sort of not really sort of present in mind when I was coming up with it, but probably at least some of it. But the main thing is, go ahead.
We discussed it a little bit, and I think the pieces will manifest in some way.
Right.
In them.
I haven't. That's the particular details I haven't worked out yet.
Okay.
But the main thing that I'll show you is kind of like, if you look along the shaft, you can kind of see a lot of fine details and etchings and stuff like that. And if you kind of read it left to right, and it kind of reads as my story more or less. And so I'll show you. I'll tell you, be like, oh yeah, before I met you, da 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 da, and then I'll be like, and then here, this is where we met you, and you might even see like what looks like a little tiefling figure or something like that, and then other kind of band members and us going on our trip. And then
Yo, is that me?
yeah, it's totally you.
What?
Yeah. And then this kind of,
Things are
and
working
then
apart.
he'll trace his finger along it, and you can see like there's actually a literal path along the shaft of it, and it's like, yeah, but then, and then it kind of actually, so where you're looking, it's like it's already turned a vibrant orange, so it starts kind of like a dull pale, like a kind of a matte black, and then at the first handle, it gets really dark, like shiny black, and then right after that first handle starts, and then there's this. You see the figure of a woman who's got this kind of bright, vibrant orange hair. Then that orange motif starts to take over the rest of the blade, and the metal blade kind of is just like bright orange for the most of the rest of the way. But then, right as it nears the second handle, you see this large etching of what looked like a metropolis. So it's kind of a walled metropolis, and I tell you, be like, yeah, that's when we tried our luck at Whitlaw, and it didn't go so well. And you can kind of see the orange color starts to sort of dull as it fades into the next like handle piece that starts to form. It's like, and then after that we kind of had lost our way. But then obviously we met, and if Rock's even within visual, we met our buddy Rock. We met. Well, they're not here, but Gustav, Marb, Grant.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where the menagerie was born, right? So, and then I'll point. So all along the handle, there's 6 kind of points around it, like as you rotate it around. But there's 2 pairs. So I'll be like, "This is you and me." And that's like one pair, and then another pair. I'll be like, "And that's Gustav, or yeah, it's Gustav and Marb." And then 2 kind of separate ones. I'll be like, "And this is Grant, and this one's Rock." And then they kind of meander around the handle, and then they wrap towards the center, where on one side of the shaft there's a figure that looks like the Pathmaker's Rest symbol, the symbol that kind of denotes the Pathmaker's Rest. And then on the other side, it's a fox symbol. And I'll say, and this is where we came together. And then after that, the rest of the handle, instead of this kind of meandering path, it's a very like tightly woven braid with all 6 kind of paths kind of together for the rest of the handle.
Ooh.
And then I'll be like, and then from here on, it's the rest. And then it'll be kind of depictions of some of the stuff that we've done. And I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but it'll kind of tell the tale of what we've done since then. So.
Mm-hmm. Every now and then, Al, from whatever part we're looking at, then he'll look back down the glaive where we started and just be like, "This is a hell of a weapon. It's so long. The whole story fits on it."
Yeah. And then after the coming together, the shaft turns orange again. That's like a bright orange again. So. All the way up to the blade, which is also pretty much all bright orange as well.
This thing's insane. It didn't. You can from a distance you can kind of see those etchings or something. It's not perfectly flat, but when you get close to it,
yeah, it really stands out.
The detail. This thing's a work of art.
Ow. Investigation check with advantage.
Ooh. Ooh. My investigation is.
And I will just say, because of Hans.
Stop scratching, you little. 19. That's not a spell. Investigation.
19? Okay. So, yeah, Hans is very good at imparting ways to find not just secret passages, but secret codes and little details. Yeah. Your choice on how you want to go with it, but like the first thing he asks is there's a components as part of it. Yeah, you do see that there are some of the things that y'all had to put up did make their way into the weapon itself. Since it's a glaive gazam, it has a spike or like almost like another blade on the top of it, and it very vaguely resembles a bear's claw. So there's Kodiak, and what Dragnar had offered. There's 2 rings along the shaft, right. One of which, details are varied. However, where there is like, and correct me if I'm wrong, Davis, or this doesn't work in your headcanon, but essentially where the one ring that you gave, they almost like where the hand grips are, is almost like where Al's visual kind of emerges from.
Sure. Yeah,
that would be the spider ring. Okay. And then the other ring is where Karos's truth singing ring is. and that actually kind of happens to show where Karos joined the group in a sense.
Yeah, love it.
So like two visual cues of where the friends came in. Somewhere along that, in the twisting and the winding, you see there is the chess piece that amongst the little decals and all that, you see the little dragon chess piece that was put in, just etched in, and then you at one point you see the little hexagonal symbol representing the plate and all that was used from the armor. So all the little bits are kind of strewn about within the design.
The hairpins
Some of
would
them are,
be near the orange-haired lady, or in the hair of the orange-haired lady.
which one?
The hairpins, that's the one I
Oh,
put
yeah.
in initially.
Yes, and the hairpins are in the. I'm just kind of going off of memory what's all there. And then there is one other thing that you pick up on that. Let me real quick before I don't want to lie. Let me message someone real quick because this will make me feel bad if I say something wrong. So, Danny, I'm messaging you
Okay.
really quick.
Don't you lie to me.
Yeah.
False. No way.
Let me check.
I don't remember. I don't
Let
remember.
me check. It's
You
quick to check.
lied to me.
I can't remember if it was that or.
Yeah, give me a sec.
Yeah. Sorry, DM forgetting something, and then
It's the first one that you said.
It is.
Yes.
It is okay. So that actually works out. You see that the two ladies that are on the blade, the one with the scale and the flowing orange hair and all that, that's kind of in opposition to the one that's almost reefed by like kraken and sea adornments like that. They both take a little bit of a green hue from the emerald that Sedge gave,
Oh, really?
and it's extremely slight. Like it's just like if it catches in the right light, you almost see like they kind of just have that little green faint glow.
Yeah,
to
you'd
them.
almost, if y'all are familiar with like antiquing and stuff like that, it's like patina, like a patina almost. I would say like just kind of a thin sheen over top of it almost that you'd mistake it for like oxidization almost of the blade, but it's not that.
Damn.
Yeah, there we go. Investigation for details.
That's awesome. I'm gonna say for the ones that Al's kind of getting kind of kiddish, kind of like playing Where's Waldo. He's like, that look, oh shit, look at this. Then Hans will like, you dumbass, it's over here. That's not what that is. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
But he'll do his best not to interrupt the story with that. But when he does notice one, he'll be like, oh, yeah, look.
It's kind of like a where's Waldo of details kind of thing, right? Kind of see it. Nice. Anyone got any more? Whatever. I mean, this is y'all's chance to. Oh, I guess I didn't necessarily. Dragnar, do you have anything you wanted to add since you had to step away for a little while in the downtime of?
Oh no, I'm just working on the lock picking stuff.
Okay, just making sure that that's it. Okay. Yeah. So you guys have up until the following morning. If there's any other interactions you kind of wish to role play, if you guys want to.
Ragnar, did you see my notes that I do? I have thieves' tools. I don't know if I think I've used them in front of you, but I don't actually remember. If you were like looking to have something to base off of or work with, just saying.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I think you said I found a set, or at least a beginning part of a set. But yeah, now if I come back to the camp and I'm kind of messing around with like a padlock or something like that, and you see that,
yeah, sure,
you may offer them up to know.
Yeah.
I had a.
While
one more
Al's
question
busy
for Davis.
faffing around with Carl, so I'll be like, here, let me show you.
Oh, cool. Thanks.
When we're winding down on the glaive stuff, I had tried to end it with a. So have you figured out a name for it yet?
Yes, I wasn't gonna tease that out on purpose, but I'm super glad that you asked because I almost had it in my head that you worked on the name with me.
Ooh.
So
When
I already
Al
have a
said
name
that,
for
that
it,
is-
but I'll say for one that we worked on it together.
Ah,
And that whenever you and I would write songs for the Rabble Rousers or performances or whatever you wanted to call them, I always wanted just all the words and wanted to sound super dope and super cool. And you're like, sometimes, it's sometimes shorter is better. And I'm like, nah, more, it's awesome. So the the full name of the blade, I'll actually just
Oh my God.
paste in here. It's like 12 words long. There you go. That's the full name. It's the Bond Forged Paths of Redemption from Floating Ash to Hardened Steel.
Are you a Korean manhwa?
For
Davis,
short,
you've done it again.
we'll just call it the Redeemer.
Davis, you're the reason we have so many 15-minute fucking songs.
Yeah, exactly. It takes us 3 minutes just to introduce the set.
Some songs don't need a fifth chorus, is all I'm saying. But I respect it.
Out of character though, I kind of think of it as a lot of like the prog rock and like neo metal, kind of new metal type stuff, where they kind of do some really long, obnoxious names for stuff.
Nothing to do with the song either.
Yeah, exactly. And it sounds like it's supposed to be like some epic graphic novel or something like that, but it's really just like a 3-minute song. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's half as many words in the title of the song itself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like 20 guitar solos and drum solos and like two refrains.
Exactly.
Ooh, this glaive is one of those.
True. This is true.
Yeah, Al loves the name, and he'll say it wrong twice before he gets it right the third time, and he'll just keep repeating that to himself, trying to remember it.
Al, he said, call it the Redeemer.
Yeah, the Redeemer's fine.
Okay. As long as you remember the proper name. Shit. Yeah, I need to write that down later.
Cool.
Redeemer it is for now.
Every time you mess up, I screw up on the lockpick. Get the damn name right.
Yeah, it's that unwillingness, like that you don't want to be actively listening, but you are. You're like, I can't tune them out.
It's like the car wreck. You just got to look.
Yeah. You're literally
I'm floating.
rubbernecking.
From floating ass to hardened iron. Fuck.
God no.
No, that was the one bar we passed by, right? The floating ass.
God damn
We go
it.
inside next time we drop by. Next time we
Wasn't
walk by.
that wasn't that what they named that new bar out in Green Hill?
I mean, there's a lot of floating things there now, so probably.
Oh my God.
I love it.
Let me get back to work. God, I'm trying to learn something. God.
This tumbler. Now you gotta work on this tumbler.
Nice. Okay. Good laughs. All right. Yeah, and I would say every time you mess up on it too, Loon just kind of.
You idiot.
She doesn't go wah wah wah.
Lulu, you say it. What are you doing?
And then she's.
See, she gets it.
That was perfect.
We know who got the brains for that group.
Does the spell transfer the brains?
What do you mean? No. It ups. It's like if it has an intelligence.
No, I'm just giving him shit.
Got it.
Lulu, can you teach it to me again?
Although instead it actually sounds like small children because foxes are weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not.
No.
Yeah, like no.
Adam, when she does that, I'm going to pull out my flask and shake it in front of her.
She just like perks up, ears at the.
Give her a little nip.
I've almost got it. Shit. Okay, I'll go work on it in the corner. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lulu.
All right. What am I forgetting? I mean, yeah. So if there's anything else that you guys want to theater of the mind right now, please do. Otherwise, we'll just get to saying, with there's nothing, we'll give you a little window.
I've got notes, trying to get the characters right, the runes right for Abyssal, and then just smack dab in the middle of the page, large letters, the Bondforge path redemption. And every few minutes he'll read that again while he's studying Abyssal.
Got it. So what will happen then is, with the day, with a very eventful, I'll say, morning, and then the ability to unwind through the day, spending time with your friends and your companions, though some of them do get frustrating at times. You find your rest. You are able to officially level up. Ring. And the next day you rise still within the heart of the mountain, within the old monastic city, ever aglow from the orange lights of the pool of lava around. You hear the faint sounds of hammer on anvil, heavy, how would I say, metallic like footsteps around, just kind of echoing through the relatively vacant city. But yeah, you have morning has come. I kind of would like to imagine that Sej, for once, you don't rise with the sun. It's just that relief of knowing your brother is there and okay. You sleep the most sound. You hadn't realized how you haven't had a sound night's rest in who knows how long, but an extremely sound night's rest. And yeah, you guys have the morning. So let's go ahead and roll items and recharges and all that stuff. And then we'll kind of get a direction that you guys are having, like conversations, doing stuff, and then we will go ahead and take our little break. Sej, your wand is barred, I take it?
Yeah. Bard again.
Hey,
Bard?
0.
Good man,
Right.
good man.
Oh, man. Davis, that's what's 3. I'm trying to do them off of memory.
Oh, okay. It's Cat's Grace.
Cat's Grace, okay. Cat's Grace.
Yeah, it's alphabetical by the enhanceability name, not by the stat. So you gotta kind of.
Because it's by the right. It's by the
It's the
enhanced
animal.
abilities.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So bear, bull, cat, eagle, fox, owl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did Al get his items back?
He got his lash. I still have the crest.
Okay.
Yeah. We're still laying that out until maybe he gets better armor. Maybe we kill the dragon. Then I'm like, hey, you had your free trial. You got to enter your credit card information, please.
So we still have. Ooh, that actually kind of reminds me. I need to look at the trinket. But okay. What else is there? Rock, portent, and engine. And remember, when you roll portent dice, you can choose one of them and re-roll it and pick either result.
Yeah, so just for funsies, so I rolled an 18 and a 19.
Okay.
All right.
And then for funsies, I was like, ooh, what would the third one be? So I rolled the third one and got a 17. So I'm keeping the 18 and 19.
Okay.
Nice.
Very, very favorable portents for y'all. Okay. 18, 19.
My engine, I rolled, because I never roll zeros, I rolled a 6. Quicken.
Man, that 10 does not like you. It's like
110 so far since I've had it. One.
And like 30 something rolls.
Yep.
okay, so quicken. Everything else you guys really didn't use up your charges on.
I have 2 questions.
Let's see.
The soldier's trinket doesn't mention anything about recharge. Can I just do
It's
full at
proficiency
dawn?
bonus charges, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, it just so
It should recharge at dawn, I think.
yeah, it returns at dawn.
Okay.
Sorry, that's if you can hear me typing, apologies, but it's
Oh yeah, it doesn't say anything about recharges. It does recharge at dawn though.
Okay. I'll add a custom note. Will it just be all 4 charges? Would it be a roll?
yeah, it says it's on there, or it should be. It should be. Underneath where it says you number of charges equal to proficiency, it should have in bold recharges. The trinket regains its expended charges at dawn daily. Does that not show up?
Oh, maybe you have a different
Mm,
version of the.
Yeah, I got the beta version.
Well, you shouldn't. Here, let me go to your character sheet. No, that's possible. I'm just surprised by that because I see it, but I can always try to edit the item. Inventory, soldiers, trinket. Yeah, you're right. So it doesn't show it on the item description, but if you go to the item in the collection, it does. Okay, let me try to edit that.
That's weird.
Oh wait,
Is it,
yeah, it doesn't even show the image on here.
do you have 2 different versions, maybe? Or do I have a version and you have a version? Let me look.
Maybe.
While that's going on, I'm gonna go up to Rock and I'm say, hey, do you still have and I'm gonna show him my empty healer's kit. Do you still have like an ass load of those?
Yeah, so for housekeeping purposes, I actually just finished the healer's kit to heal last night. But yes, I've had out. Let me. I'm gonna dig in my bag here, and yeah, I got 2 left that have not been used.
It still got the plastic wrap on it. My goodness.
Yep, brand new, fancy pants. Here you go. And I'll head one over to you.
Oh, thank you.
Well, you might not be able to handle that.
I've got to get rid of the old one. Would you like it?
You can just chuck it. 'Cause, yeah, they weigh 3 pounds, which I know is really heavy for you.
Do you wanna go and chuck in the lava together?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Kind of
Let's go.
just like a lot.
What? I'm
Hey,
gonna
Rock, why
run
don't
off.
you feed it to your bag?
Or we can feed her to my bag.
We can try. Does it like that?
He seems to eat anything. I like open the bag, making sure my hands are nowhere near it so that it can't suck me in.
I'm not gonna hand feed it, by the way. Here's the kit.
Okay, I'll toss it in.
I'll watch, but I'm not touching.
Yeah, the bag gets tossed. It just into the bag. You kind of look inside, not sticking your hand or your head anywhere too close, but it's an empty bag. It's gone.
I have totally forgot to feed my bag friend lately, so he might be cranky. So I'm going to put him away.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how. I have only one soldier's trinket listed, and I'm not pulling up another one when I search it, but it only has 3. I don't know what happened. I don't know how it had 4 charges or 3 charges, but
If you have updated text, I can just update the one that I have, because that's the one he's using, I'm pretty sure, because it looks to match it.
yeah, I basically just updated the one to have 4 charges and then deleted deleted the soldier trinkets from his inventory, and then added a new one. So let me try doing that real quick one more time, and then we'll go. So while I'm doing that, what are you guys discussing, planning? I want to get a consensus in the morning before we take a break, so I can at least kind of have an idea where the session's going.
First, I'm going to cook. Second, I'm going to learn Draconic. Third, I don't know.
Kill a dragon.
Kill the dragon.
Kill the dragon.
Kill the dragon.
We're gonna kill the dragon.
Okay, no, that's pretty easy consensus then. You're going after the dragon.
Dragon.
The wagon. Cool. All right, what's for breakfast today, Mr. Sedge?
Same as every day.
Take care.
Whatever we have.
I like it. Okay, Al, your trinket should be completed. Cool.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Yep. All right. So with that, Breakfast comes late because Serge overslept.
Ooh.
Slacker.
A little awkward for Serge because he normally doesn't oversleep. But breakfast is
I
made.
like I can see the sun inside of here, so don't blame me.
Are you
Sounds
expending? Are you expending charges and materials to make it fancy feast, or are you just doing?
Can't.
Doing it
Wait, he's
regular.
not
I
attuned.
have to attune.
I keep forgetting he's not attuned. Ah, okay, cool. All right. So, has anyone got anything to add before we go to break? Besides chanting, going to kill the Dwiggin.
Yeah.
I have a free attunement slot. I'm guessing that's usually the Conspirator's Crest.
Cough.
I'm gonna tune to the chime. Wait, yeah, Soldier's Trinket. Soldier's Trinket is no attunement.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, then I didn't re-equip that. Then that's what happened.
That should be attuned.
It is. Says requires attunement. Has a little A pyramid.
Yeah, it should require. So, did it work out for you, Al?
Nope, it's not an option for attunement, but I do have all the new details.
Interesting. Let me look at that. There might be something I set up for that. Let me see. This is like this is what wigs me out on this, and we'll go ahead and take a break. So it says like True Strike. There's a spell on it and everything, and it says 1 of 3, but you have 4 chart. I got to figure out what's happening here. Cool.
It's all good.
I had something special here. Where was this? All right. Anywho, so with that, guys, let's go ahead and take our break. We'll round it up to say that it's 10:05 or 5 past the hour. So let's be back at 15 or the latest like 20 past the hour.